Okay guys, welcome back to Links London. I think we're on our way to becoming a jewellery business. At the minute we're an IT department in a garage. So for Links London we need everything. But before we got jewellery or start repairing and restoring vintage and retro jewellery, we need a website and social media, and for that we need a computer. And I've got myself a really cool looking computer, the Mac Pro from late 2013, and in this video tonight I want to upgrade the RAM. And I bought this on eBay. It was possibly the cheapest, it was the cheapest one I could find. I paid £165 here in the UK plus £20 shipping, so £185, which if you're watching in the US or somewhere that uses US dollars, it's less than $200 delivered. So bargain. In this video we're going to unbox this, which I'm hoping is RAM that will fit. I'll share with you a video that I found, which if you're interested in buying one of these or you've got one of these, I found this really interesting video. It's interesting because it was filmed at the time, and you might not find it because it's about the RAM, but this guy, it's filmed in the period these were brand new, like around 2013, 2014. And he's got screenshots of the Apple website and the different configurations and the current prices back in the day when these were a new machine. So yeah, I'll share that with you because it's actually interesting if you want to. I thought this model was potentially in its original format, but looking at this, it's probably not. It's probably been messed with a little bit because it's, well, there may have been different configurations available in different countries. This is a UK. Presumably this was a UK model, and it's definitely got a different spec than was available at the time, but then they may have changed spec. But yeah, this guy is called Jonathan Morrison. So by the time this video is ready to go out, I'll probably forget to link it below, but he's got 2.5 million subscribers at the moment, so you'll be able to find him. I'll put his name or his little image of him, Jonathan Morrison, and the video that I watched is titled How to Apple, that's very of the time, Apple Mac Pro RAM upgrade, late 2013.
13 Mac Pro that sounds like Darth Vader. 13 Mac Pro has 4 upgraded
Good
memory
shot
slots,
there.
which maxes out at 64 gigabytes and uses 1866 megahertz DDR3 ECC. Baseline quad-core model comes stock with configuration options from Apple, just to give you guys a look.
But yeah, this is what's interesting. This is Apple's website at the time, and the base model of this, which was the quad core, was just shy of $3,000, and if you upgraded to the 6 core, it was an additional $500, and the 8 core, you were looking at an additional $2,000. The 12 core at the time was a $3,500 upgrade, so that took you up to $6,500. That currently, if you buy one of those 12 cores on eBay, is about a £20 or $20 upgrade. So prices have definitely come down. This will be a bit noisy. I'm going to fire up the coffee machine. Now, memory, the quad core, which is what this machine has come with, an odd looking setup. So we've got 3 sticks of 4 GB RAM. So immediately you think, well, someone's taken one out, but actually these machines, for some reason, which the reason is clear now, that was a configuration. You could get the quad core with 3 sticks of 4 gig because they sold the upgrade, they sold the additional stick of RAM for $100. Yeah, if you ordered, what I've got in here potentially is a $1,300 upgrade on the quad core. I think he then actually quite usefully goes on to selects the upgrade, and if you go,
You can bump that up to 32 for an extra 400, or you can
the 6 core, which this is, if you upgraded the 6 core from its base 16 gig, which this, according to this, should have had that another 4 gigs. So someone's pinched a 4 gig RAM out of it. But judging that could be because RAM, but obviously back in the day, it was a lot more expensive than DDR3 RAM is on eBay today. So yeah, back in the day, what I've got in here, 64 gig of RAM, to put in this was potentially a $1,200 US upgrade. Upgrading to a 1 terabyte flash drive was a bargain at just $800 US. To max these out, you were spending close to $10,000 US. But having said that, if you go and buy the latest Mac Pro, which replaced this one, came out in 2000. This wasn't replaced until 2019, and if you go and buy that, the base model of today's Mac Pro is £7,000 here in the UK. I'm guessing it's about $7,000 US right now in the US. It's 2024 at the time of me filming this. And if you fully spec that out, you're looking at a similar amount, £10,000 or $10,000 US plus for a fully spec'd out Mac Pro. Right, so
You can max it out at 64 for an extra $1,200. Now, if you're going to go third party and you want to upgrade yourself and save a little bit of money, the going rate right now.
yeah, what he also does is he goes on to Amazon and what have you, and third-party suppliers of RAM. And RAM was expensive back in the day. That, like, for what we've got here, you're looking at about $800 US. Yeah, he's checking out Amazon. That's what makes it so interesting. Is looking at the prices back in the day.
Powered down and then unplugged. We'll then go ahead and make sure the lock on the back is slid to the unlock state, and from there we can go and begin to take the casing off of the Mac Pro to unveil the inside.
Right, that's what we're going to do. Let's open this up and see what we've got. This must have been a scary manoeuvre back in the day. It's bad enough. This was less than 200 quid, and this was 20 quid, and I'm still a bit worried about sticking it in. He's playing with potentially a $4,000 machine at the time, and about, how much did he say it was? He didn't have 64. I think he's got 32 gig. Was that about $800 US worth of RAM? It'd be sweating doing this. Ooh, that. We should potentially have, you know, all anti-static gear and what have you, but I think that is actually proper packaging, but we don't. And yeah, bargain, 20 quid, reduced from £1,200 back in the day. I went for Samsung RAM. What I did extensive research. What I did to buy this, I saw people were selling like RAM kits for this on eBay for about £30 or £40. I looked at what the RAM was and found that you could actually buy the RAM in pairs for £9. So I just ordered 2 of the RAM, but it's a bit of a minefield about what RAM you should get because there's different speeds. I figured out eventually that we needed the 1800 speed, not the 1600 speed. But there's also a few other anomalies with these as to voltages and so the different alphanumeric codes on them mean different voltages, and there's different registrations of them, so I'm not entirely sure whether I've got the right RAM and whether it's working here. What's worrying is it says as well most of these are not fit for home computers because this is server RAM. I think that's what this took. It took sort of workstation or server RAM at the time. Well, what is now considered server RAM. I hope. We'll find out. It does show you the error message if you apparently if you mix up the RAMs as well, which was quite interesting. He actually shows you the error message in this video, I noticed.
Modules.
That happens.
So as you can see, that is sadbase.jpg, and the Mac Pro is kind of screaming and unbuffered memory in the same system. Now me, of course, because that is what I do, I tried it anyways. This is actually what happens if you mix the modules.
So yeah,
as you can see that
they told you not to do something to a £4,000 machine. They did it anyway just for the video. YouTubers for you. They haven't changed. The YouTube money was good back then. You could afford to blow it up. Okay, check it out. This is probably not how you're supposed to handle such delicate things, but yeah, looking good. We've got 4 matching sticks of RAM. Right, let's follow the instructions. First of all, we need to power this off and open it up. Shut that on.
From there, we can go and begin to take the casing off of the Mac Pro to unveil the insides. Now, on the left and the right of the ins and the outs, you can see we have 4 memory slots, 2 on each side.
So volume this down. Is that off? Screen's off. I think, does this still do the light thing when you, yeah, look at that, it still does the light thing when it's off. Right, screen out. Power cable out, so don't electrocute ourselves. Unlock the case. Ooh. I did in my last video, and yet, well, yesterday, I did actually check out how you would get these RAMs out, and you sort of push the button. Basically, there's an up arrow, and you push it. These open up. That's as maximum they open, yeah. Right, it did say something about the way to do it in here. There was a tip.
A little button right here that we're going to go ahead and kind of push open. That's going to release the RAM modules.
Done.
Now, once we have both sides open, we're actually going to remove every single module that is currently in there. We actually note on Crucial's website, it says installation of 16GB modules requires all previous lower density modules to be removed. Well, it's kind of screaming at you.
There was a tip
just
on.
in case. Now that we have everything empty, I'm actually going to use only the first 2 slots since I have 2 16GB sticks. So I found that it's easiest to install the one closest to the inside first, so we can go to pop it in there. Don't be afraid to give it a little force. We're going to look for a little click just to make sure we know it's in there.
That was the tip I remember you gave. You put the inside one back in first. That's in. Fingers crossed. Right, now what?
Once the second stick is in there, we can go ahead and lock everything up. Now, if you had extra sticks and you were going to max out the Mac Pro, obviously we would repeat the same process on the other side. But for me, I only have 2 slots to fill in. So I'm going to go ahead and lock up the empty 3 and 4 slots on the right. And from there, we can go ahead and close up the Mac Pro, plug everything in, and power it on. Now from there, we're pretty much done and ready to go. All we have to do now, once the Mac Pro is powered on, is head up to the top left-hand corner.
Right. In theory, we're done. A lot more going on these 64 gig chips than moment of truth. Will we get that buzzing noise when he put, like, yeah. Have I got the right RAM? Right, close your eyes. We're going to put in the password. I think now. So far, so good. Sixteen, 64 gigabytes installed. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I had the right ones ordered, but I did. Samsung RAM. So yeah, the thing to look out for, which I had to look out for, is the speed. This is 1866. I think there was a 16 something instead. There was a different speed. So this is 1866 megahertz. So yeah, you could get a 1600 megahertz version. DDR3, obviously you need the 3, not the 4, and ECC. There was this I don't know. I'm not going to pretend I know what that means. It's some sort of registration, and they seem to use different terminology for the different makes. Some say registered, some say EC. It's again, don't quote me on this, but it seems to sort of mean a similar thing. But also there was this other number on them, 14900, and then there was a letter, different letters, and I looked on some of the chat rooms, but there was also 14600, so I never got to the bottom of what that meant. But luckily I managed to find the 14900 designation, I think. But yeah, the letters, it turns out the letters afterwards were to do with voltage. So there's in servers, which is what this stuff was for, and someone said server RAMs is a good thing to get because it's at most taxing on RAM, turning the machines on and off, and servers are just on. So you'd think that would wear, you know, generally speaking, things being on is when they wear out, but apparently no, with these it's the on off which is the most taxing, according to the internet, which is always right, eh? So yeah, you've got to be careful with the voltage, but having said you've got to be careful, then other people just say it doesn't, like the modules know in they just adjust. So unless it's specific, unless you've got a specific use case. Yeah, I'm pretending like I know, it's a minefield. Just I do what I did, find a kit and then copy it. So yeah, I've managed to upgrade to 6. I've managed to upgrade this. This is now, what is this now? This is now, it's the base model GPU, which is the AMD Fire Pro D300. It's got the second, there was 4 CPUs available, 4 core, 6 core, 8 core and 12 core. This is the 6 core, so we're quite close to we're not bottom, but we're close. And this now has 64 gig of RAM, and this had, in terms of storage, this came with the bottom size storage, 256 was it 251, 250 gigabyte hard drive. I'm not going to do any more upgrades, and the reason I'm going to make another video about reviewing this. But yeah, also shout out to this chap. I'd go and give him support. I did check and see if he still makes videos, and he did, or he does, or he might do, because the next video on his channel is health update. I've lost everything. So yeah, go and give him some love, because sounds like he needs it. Unless that's he's been doing YouTube a long time, might be clickbait, probably not. Go and give him, get well soon, Jonathan. Let's actually let's do the thing. And where was the video?
Extra memory? Check. Opened up.
Let's give him a thumbs up. Boom, done. 4.8 thousand likes on that. Right, where were we? The MacBook. With these, I've upgraded the RAM. If you're watching this and you're going to buy one of these, or you're in the market for one of these, most of the videos I've watched on these, and I'm going to do an overview of them in the next video, but most of the videos I've watched these at the moment, they sort of compare them to most of them. There's some really good videos, and there's some really people that are knowledgeable about Macs, and in these particular, and they've been really helpful. So I'm not dismissing them. There's a lot. I've watched lots of them, and I haven't found any of them to be useless. They're all useful videos, and you gain little nuggets of information, sometimes about the RAM, like those little things that, like, you can put 128 here, but it slows it down and things like that, and just little tips like that. Where I'll put the order, the easiest configuration to put the RAM in. There's always some little tips in the videos I watch. What I would say about these, though, most of the videos I've watched were filmed this year, last year, and the prices of these have dropped even further. So what most people are doing is comparing the narrative is very similar, and that is comparing these in their own way to a Mac Mini, which these are 10 years old, and that is basically, they're almost as good as an entry model modern Mac. But there's one problem that I've discovered using it for the first. I discovered this using it for the first time. The reason the prices of these are plummeting is they're no longer fit for the purpose they would have originally been bought for. And these Pros back then, like today, I guarantee if you've been to watch any movie over the last 20 years, or listen to any major recording artist's music, the chances are that if not the whole movie, parts of it, whether it's from the opening titles, the end titles, to parts of the movie itself, to the artwork, for the promotions of that would have been done on a Mac Pro somewhere, somehow. There are probably teams of people and multiple Macs. The music, they probably got in music studios. They would have had these. They would have had the predecessor of the Pro, and they probably got the cheese grater today, running Logic and whatever else they use. And again, the artwork, the photos will be edited. They're a really useful workhorse, a powerful machine, but expensive. So these now they've lost support for the latest operating system. The problem I had with this is I edited the first Links London. I filmed the first Links London on an iPhone. This iPhone, which is a 12 Pro Max, full speed, 4K, 60 frames per second. I managed to, and I didn't use the hard drive in this. I used a Samsung external hard drive, this T7, because I knew I'd fill this up. All I've put on this hard drive was the actual Final Cut Pro itself and Chrome and the operating system. There's loads of room left, but the video files are massive on Final Cut Pro. Anyway, put Final Cut Pro on this, edited the first video, which is 20 minutes long, of like 4K video. It worked really well, actually. I was surprised. I thought it was going too well. So it dropped a few frames, but it worked fine. It was usable as a computer until I came to export it. And I didn't even do it in full pro, like full ProRes would have been an enormous file. I did it in Apple devices 4K, I think, like what's it, HVEC, which is a compressed format, but the big one, the full Dolby 8.1. I think it was it was about 25 minutes long. You can watch, it's the first video on this channel, so you can watch that. It was edited in Final Cut Pro on this. It was about an 8 gig file. Which in hindsight is probably should have been a lot smaller because it wasn't particularly complicated. Anyway, I left this. I put it to export after about half. The fan on this went probably to as fast as it could. It sounded like it was going to take off. It was running for about half an hour and it didn't even get to 1%. So I stopped it because it was getting late. I thought I was worried I was going to cook it because the 500 and the 700 GPUs on these have a problem where they got cooked. This one, and there was a product recall, so that's why I got that's one of the reasons I got this model. The main reason was because it was dirt cheap. But like, if you get a 500 and 700, another nugget you'll find from many of the videos you'll watch is how to, from the serial numbers on these, how to date them and figure out whether and also you need to figure out whether the machine was pre or post product recall, and whether it had the whatever the remedy to the problem was done, because otherwise it's highly likely you'll cook it and the GPUs are unaffordable right now, unlike every other part. Probably because most of them got cooked. So, where was I? Yeah, I went to export, it didn't work. So what I did is I took the hard, because everything was on the external hard drive, I took the external hard drive and put it in this, which is a 2017 MacBook Pro. But because this 2017 has got the latest operating system in it, and I didn't know this at the time, that then automatically gives you a newer version of Final Cut Pro. When I opened up the file in here, it just quick prompt: we need to update this to run on the latest version of Final Cut Pro. It did it almost immediately. I think it re-rendered it, but it didn't take long. It then took this to be fair, it took this about 2 or 3 hours to export the file onto the hard drive. And there's a load of reasons why, like the cable between, you could go into the cables between these and the hard drive speeds, and you could probably speed that up. And this is only an i5. It's not even it's an i5 13-inch, so it's not from 2017. It's not a high spec one. It's just bog standard. So anyway, that exported. But then when I went to put if you put the T7 back in here and then try and open it up, I showed this in yesterday's video. It's not backwards compatible. So the video I edited on this is, you now can't open it because it says it's been made on a newer version. Well, it wasn't made on a newer version, it was made on this, but it's been converted into a newer version which is not backwards compatible. So these are obviously deliberate, so you upgrade, but and also they don't want to waste time and money on backwards compatibility. They've made it, luckily it's full, I guess. One thing is, if you've got stuff you've made on this, they allow you to use whatever it's forward compatible. So anything you've made on one of these old machines, this will convert it into the new ones. But then you're not going back onto this, which basically this is not. So it kind of, that's why these are cheap and getting cheaper, because it's so responsive. I mean, it's even, I feel, I don't know whether it's just, because I've just stuck the RAM in it, I feel it started up even faster with the new RAM in it. But it turns on, this boots, when you turn it on, it boots up almost as fast as a modern machine. It's as responsive. Doing webs, this will be great for everything except for using the latest high power, your Final Cut Pros, probably your Logics, and editing and trying to edit brand new format stuff. And that compatibility, because this is up to, this has only got you can only take this up to Mac OS Monterey without doing some bodging. What is the you can get, there are ways around all this. You could get, there are patches, open, there are ways to bodge these up to the latest. So there are ways to do it. There are unofficial ways to get the latest operating systems unofficially onto older hardware that technically doesn't support it. I'm aware of that, but it's problematic from the time. It can be problematic when you do it, and those problems are only gonna magnify as time goes on. But what I would say, I would still recommend buying one. So you just got to be aware that you're not gonna. You can't buy one if you're a content creator and you want to edit video and music, and you need and want the latest versions of Final Cut Pro, like Apple software, Final Cut Pro, Logic, and you want them to work with your phone, and you've got a new phone, then you're going to need another Mac. But I've got another Mac. Where I just love the look of it. I didn't buy it because I didn't. If you want the latest processor pack, you need a Mac. What this proves is that you can actually now if you go and buy a Mac Mini, an entry-level Mac Mini, which here in the UK are about £650, and they're probably less in dollars in the US, an entry-level Mac is what this proves is we've come a long way in 10 years, because now an entry-level Mac is actually more powerful than the movie studios and the best music studios in the world had 10 years ago, which would have been one of these. And now you can go buy a Mac Mini for £600 brand new, and you can get them even cheaper used. So and from there you can go to the studio, go from the Mini and get the studio. You're going to be even faster, and then the new Pros even faster yet. But I think that's with a Mac Mini, there's not a lot you can't do. It's just you're not going to be as quick, and if you're exporting a lot of things, you need to be quick in a professional environment. Yeah, well, I think what this is a fantastic desktop for web-based stuff, surfing the web, maybe editing some photos for social media, email, and it's just a phenomenal looking machine. Even if it didn't work, you could put that on the shelf, and it's smaller than you'd imagine. Look at that. It's just when that finally gives up, I think that will just be stuck on the shelf as modern art, which is what it is. I don't think there's been a better looking desktop computer, and there isn't one available now. And also it's that compact size. You can stick that next to a screen. This is the Apple Cinema 27-inch cinema display. I've got on my other Mac. I've got the Harman Kardon sound sticks. I wish they didn't come with the base box, because they just it's quite an awkward thing. But yeah, that and the Harman. Is it Harman? Is that how you pronounce it? The sound sticks on a desk. Back in even today, that's a cool looking desk setup. Back in 2013, you'd have been Steve Jobs, I guess. Right, enough waffle. The RAM upgrade is working, seemingly. Now we can get on with some work. I think the next video I'm going to make, I'm actually going to use this for a few more days, make sure that RAM's kicking, see if what difference that RAM has actually made. And I might try and edit this video on this and see if the RAM's made a difference to that. I'm then obviously going to, it could make a difference to the export, and I don't think it'll make a big enough difference, but then I can always do exactly the same maneuver for its compatibility to the MacBook export it. Well, it does seem to create a bigger file doing it on the old version, and then it's going to be backwards compatible. Right, see you in the next one, guys.